Okay, so today we are going to talk about transitive pairs. So I think it's easier to start with English because English also has same pairs as Japanese transitive pairs. So in languages, there are two kinds of verbs. That the first one is transitive. Transitive verbs get both subject and object. So there are two nouns for the transitive verb, and the subject is usually agent. So agent is something like who does the action, and the object is someone who receives the action. We also have, so that's the transitive pair here, transitive verb, and we also have something called intransitive verb, which takes only one noun, only subject, but the subject is not the agent. Some subject is not someone who does the action. Subject is someone who receives the action. Okay, and I think the example is a lot. If you see the examples, it's a lot easier. So there are two types of verbs: transitive, intransitive. And first sentence is Takeshi broke the window. So you have two nouns. Takeshi is the subject. The window is the object. And Takeshi is who does breaking. And then window is some things that receives breaking. So this is the agent, and this is the patient or receiver of the action. The same verb, to break, can be intransitive verb. And if it's used as an intransitive verb, it becomes the window broke. Yeah. The difference between transitive verb is there's only one noun, and also the subject is the patient. Subject is the receiver of the action, right? So it's exactly the same. These two are exactly the same situation. You can talk the same situation in terms of transitive verb. So you just tell who did to what. But you can also say as an intransitive verb, when window broke, without saying who did it. Okay. So you can tell only who received it as a subject. Excuse me. You can do the same thing as with the verb open. So you can say Takeshi opened the window, or you can say the window opened. You can say Takeshi boiled water, or the water boiled. Okay. So all of these verbs are English transitive pairs. We also have the same pair in Japanese. Kowasu is the Japanese verb to break, and which can be used either transitive, so this is transitive, and this is intransitive. Akeru is to open, which can be used as transitive or intransitive. Wakasu is to boil, again used as a transitive or intransitive. Okay, so in a way they're exactly the same system, and it's interesting that we use more or less the same kind of verbs, something indicating like change of actions or change of locations tend to have these transitive pairs. So breaking, opening, boiling, in all languages there are transitive pairs, such as in Japanese and English. There's one difference though. The difference is in English you can keep using the same verb, break, both transitive and intransitive. But in Japanese, if you look at it, there's a small difference. transitive verb is 壊した intransitive verb is 壊れた To open, transitive verb is 開けた The intransitive verb is 開いた To boil, transitive is 沸かした Intransitive verb is 沸いた And then you may say, oh, here's another conjugation, but actually it is not. It is not the conjugation. It is actually these two verbs are completely different verbs, and there is no way to sort of like create the one from the other. So, in other words, knowing transitive of to open doesn't help anything to know intransitive verb of to open. So you have to sort of like know these two pairs as separate verbs. Okay, you have to know both transitive open, intransitive open, because unlike conjugation, there's no rule to create one from the other. And so this is the list of the conjugation, transitive pairs that the textbook uses in chapter 18. So I'm gonna start with transitive. 開ける is to open something. I think it's even better someone opens something. 閉める is someone closes something. 入れる is to put something. 出す is take something out. つける is to turn on something. 消す is turn off something. 壊す is to break something. 汚す is make something dirty. 落とす is drop something. And 沸かす is to boil something. Okay. So these are transitive verbs. So you should have two nouns. So you have to say who did what kind of actions to what. Intransitive verb is just only nouns. You just have to say who received the action. Okay, and the corresponding verbs to the verbs we just talked about is 開く、閉まる、入る、出る、つく、消える、壊れる、汚れる、落ちる、and 湧く。So they are very similar, but they are very little, just tiny bit different. Okay, and you feel like there is a pattern, but there is not. So the good example is there's a verb called 焼く. It's to burn. 焼ける is also to burn. Okay, so these are again like another transitive pair. 焼く is a transitive. 焼ける is intransitive. So probably it's easier to write in alphabet. Oh. Wrong. 焼く。Okay, so the difference is E, right? This E. So it sounds like a E indicates the intransitive verb. So that's you may think. But if you look at the 開ける and 開く, which is the one you just see here, and let's write in alphabet. So the one you just saw, this E, now appears in transitive one. So it doesn't mean this E marker is the intransitive marker. It's not true, because exactly the same thing appears as a transitive in some other verbs. So in other words, it's completely unpredictable. You just have to unfortunately memorize two different kinds for each pair. Okay. So we're gonna do a little bit practice. So next video, I'm gonna show you some practice assignment, practice activity for transitive pairs.